Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Foot Basket Podcast. I hope you're enjoying your day. Hope everyone had a great Christmas, a Merry Christmas. I'm glad you are here today to watch this episode. I have some good things to talk about today. I'm gonna be ranking the Christmas games, and then I'm going to be going over the NFC's weaknesses going into the playoffs. So I got some good notes. I got some good questions for my boys. So I'm excited to get into this episode. I just want to first start off by giving all the glory to God, allowing me to be able to do this podcast, and that He's been with me during this whole time and being able to have this time with God. I just want to give all the glory to God and allow me to do this. So I thank you, Father. So let's get straight into the first question of the week. Remember, if you want to be in the question segment, just text me individually. I will be posting on the Foot Basket Podcast Instagram weekly. You could also just reply on the Instagram note. You could text me individually on my personal account or the Foot Basket Podcast account. So my first question comes from my boy Zay. He asked, "Do I think Ja is going to be traded from Memphis?" So I think this is a really good question. As we know, there's a lot that's going on with Ja. We also had that time just about a month or two ago where he was saying that he needs to be played more or something like that. And ever since about like that 2022-2023 run, it has not just looked good. The relationship between Ja and the organization has not looked good as it did before. Ja doesn't look as explosive and looks like he doesn't look like he want to be there genuinely. So I think this is a good question. So we'll start off with what I think will happen. I think Ja will be traded. I don't know what his contract is looking like. I'm pretty sure they gave him an extension a few years ago, so I don't think they could just let him walk in free agency. I think this will have to be a trade. Will it get to the point where we need to see a public like Ja requested a trade, or will the organization do it themselves? Genuinely, I don't know, but I think either this season or maybe during the off season, Ja will be traded. I think it's known between fans and the organization has to see it as well that Ja, does not look happy in his organization. He does not look as explosive. I don't know what personal things that go behind what we see as fans, but Ja does not look happy here, and I think the organization sees that as well. So hopefully they take the hint that I feel like he's really giving away. Um, unless he just gets to the point where he just, requests a trade, and then now they're like, truly having to scramble to find this trade package. I think Ja is a really good player. I think he um, can help a team genuinely get to a chip. To think about trade ideas, that's something I haven't even thought about. So I don't even know what would pop up in my mind right now. But I think Ja would be a really good asset to any team as long as you're able to keep him just his emotions down, his tempo cool, calm, and collected, and allow him to play the game, not do everything that's off the court. We will see what Ja's career ends like, or goes like these next year or two, but I'm excited to see what will happen. I'm excited to see Ja go somewhere else, to be honest, because I do enjoy Ja Morant basketball. Like genuinely, I say literally 2 years ago, I said he was one of my top two favorite players, and that's just because of the explosiveness, the like dunking on people, the high flying, the crazy blocks. Like I enjoy that type of basketball where it's kind of unique. You see a lot of players just spam the 3 pointers. But Ja really likes driving, and it reminds me a lot of Derrick Rose, and Derrick Rose is my favorite basketball player growing up. I even had those D Rose shoes, but so that's what I have to say to your question. Zay, I appreciate your question. And also for anybody that has requested or has sent in a question, you can redo a question as well. But thank you, Zay, for this question. I'm gonna go to the second question of the week. This comes from my boy Benz. He says, with the Spurs beating OKC the third time in a row, where do I see the Spurs come playoff time? So I think before the season, um, would I say the Spurs are the second best team in the West? Like if I would have, like if somebody told me that, would I believe it? Probably not. But I don't think it was as hidden as like maybe it was just me and everybody in the world knew that the Spurs were going to be a top three team in the league almost. But genuinely watching this team play, it looks so good. Even when Wimby is out, even when Wimby is having limited minutes, this team looks so good. And it kind of reminds me of OKC just a little bit, with just a young talent that they have. There's a kind of big difference where OKC really doesn't have this veteran in the locker room, whereas we have like a Harrison Barnes. I'm even call Keldon Johnson a veteran, as I've heard like many interviews where Keldon Johnson is really loud in the locker room. He's very he speaks a lot in the locker room. So um that's what the Spurs have, and with these young people, these young players that they have, I mean, I genuinely do think I had this question last week with Santi's question where he asked if whether or not they should trade Fox. I think Devin Vassell is such a good trade pack. I don't know how much he's making, even if he's making I think like 16 million. Um, I think this team is a Devin Vassell trade package away. When it comes to playoff time, if they play OKC in a 7-game series, do I think the Spurs will win? I think so. I genuinely do think so. And it's crazy to think that, because I think literally 2 weeks ago I was talking to my coworker and I was like, the only way to grade a team is if how bad they lose to OKC. And now we've seen a team beat OKC 3 times in a row. We see SGA go into the press room say, yeah, the Spurs are better than us. And that's so crazy to see, because I was so, high on like how good OKC is and that like no one can really stop them. And Spurs is really their kryptonite. Um, so I will get to that game, because we will be raking those Christmas games. But appreciate you, Benz, for the question. Again, like I said, you could always redo another question for next week or whenever. But thank you for the question. And if you ever want to submit a question, just again text me individually, text on these videos, or just reply when I post on my story on the Foot Basket Podcast account. So let's get to these NBA games. Since I will be ranking the Christmas games, I'm not going to be going over those. And I hope you guys are giving me some type of leeway. I spent a lot of time with family, so I didn't get to a lot of basketball this week. I got before Christmas, or in like Christmas Day, I got to a lot of basketball. But after that, it was just a lot of family time. But I do want to highlight some games that I genuinely did enjoy. Let's start with the Celtics and the Pacers. This was December 22nd. This was low-key a good watch. The final score was 103-95. In the first half, the Celtics scored 43 points. Their offense was not looking good, and Indiana was up. They had really good transitions. They had really good pace against the Celtics, and I thought like Indiana was gonna go away with this game, and Indiana ends up scoring 36 points in the second half. In a whole half, they scored 36 points. I think Indiana did choke this game. I think they looked better than the Celtics. The whole first half, and they had a pretty decent lead going into halftime, since the Celtics had such a low scoring first half, and then I don't even know what happened. They scored, I think it was 36. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard the commentator say watching this game. But oh my goodness, it low-key was a good game, but dang, the 36 points. The Indiana Pacers could have really had a good win here. Celtics continue to win, so we will see what they end up doing as an organization when it comes with this Tatum injury. They're gonna continue to try to win out, and then once Tatum gets back, are they gonna do a trade before the trade deadline, or they're in a weird spot, because I genuinely don't think the Celtics team is as good as how many wins they are and where they're seated. But we'll see what the front office does about this whole situation with Tatum, and if they want to win this year, if they plan on winning this year, if they want to make any trades. The people they brought in, like Luka Garza, like Neemias Queta, even Payne Pritchard, all these people are playing so much well in the last season. So I think that's their biggest help and their factor to their winning right now. Mavericks Pelicans. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I took notes on this game. This was a really good game as well. Score ended 119-113. This was another good game by Cooper Flag. Let me just check the box score for this game, because he had a couple games that I watched this week. I've been enjoying watching Cooper Flag basketball. Okay, so he had only 16 points, so maybe that's not a game I'm thinking about. 16, 6, and 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 and 11 from the field. So you would hope for him to take more shots. I mean, Ryan Nembhard had more shots to him. Klay Thompson had more shots to him. But 16 points, the efficiency isn't bad. He only shot 1 3-pointer, and he made it. That's a crazy thing too. I think once Cooper Flag really gets his 3-point ball down, I think he's gonna be so good. He hasn't been taking many. But I think that's a step that he needs to take. It's just those 3 balls. Maybe that's an off-season thing that he'll work on. But I mean, it is definitely what we see now is like I guess the only flaw in Cooper Flag's offensive game, um, is the volume, not like the actual can he hit him or not. It's just the volume that he's taking them at. December 23rd. Let me see if I have any for these. This felt so long ago. I feel like this Christmas week went by so long. Oh, the Spurs beat OKC this week, 130 to 110. I'm pretty sure Wemby was on limited minutes. Oh my goodness, Keldon Johnson had 25 points. Yo, I was just talking about Keldon Johnson last week, how he might get traded or he should get traded, and maybe I should be taking that back because 25 points. Oh my goodness, I was not locked into this game. De'Aaron only had 6 points. Wembanyama only had 12. Yo, oh my goodness, I did not tap into this game, and this box score is completely. So 4 points by Dylan Harper. Yo, okay, so you lost to Keldon Johnson and I don't even know. Keldon Johnson, you lost to Keldon Johnson. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was not a good game by Chet. Only 7 points. Shea only had 17. Shea still had 33. I don't know what happened this game. I'm really trying to remember what games I really tapped into and had notes on. Let's look at some of these. Because we can't go over the Christmas games. Let's see. I know I tapped into the Warriors game. I think that was yesterday when they played the Raptors. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure the Warriors ended up choking this game. Let me double check that with the game stats. I think I could look at that. Also get what's his name? Draymond Green had 20-something points this game as well. And that was a crazy scoring by Draymond. But so yeah, I think the Raptors played really well as well. The Warriors definitely need a center as well. I mean, it's so seen when you're watching their basketball. It's so obvious that they just really need a center. Because Post is not doing it for them. I kind of want to get to these Christmas games. Like I'm keep going over them, and I want to get to it. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna go straight to these Christmas games. Cause I really tapped into these games. I took some time in all 5 of these games. So that's what we'll just get into the segment for the NBA. And this is gonna be me ranking the 5 Christmas games. And just talking about them, spending some time on them, and what I got from it, what I took from it, and stuff like that. So at number 5. I think this should be an obvious choice. I think a fan favorite for who should go number 5. This was the LA versus Houston game. I'm gonna give my power rankings of what I thought was gonna be the worst. I'm gonna give my top 5 what I thought how it was gonna be. I thought Golden State versus Dallas was gonna be the worst game. I'm only saying this because I did not think LA was gonna be a worst. I even thought like Cleveland versus New York was gonna be like 4th. Denver, Minnesota 3, LA 2, and then I think the Spurs OKC was going to be, like, I would assume, like, the best game. But let's go over this LA Houston game. It wasn't an intense, crazy game. This is why it's in the 5th spot. Houston never chilled this game. They genuinely just stayed in control the whole game. They used their identity, which is that double big, that offensive rebound, and they were getting their second chance points. And this is where Lakers just couldn't, even if they had, I think they had a quarter where the Rockets weren't getting their second chance points, but the Rockets still had this lead this whole time. They kept the lead the whole game. I think the Rockets just cruised with this win. They got their lead early on, and they just stayed with it. They never trailed. So it was a good game by the Rockets offensively and defensively. So yeah, they had offensive rebounds that they got, and their second chance points really just carried them in this win. So let's go over the fourth game. I'm gonna go over Golden State versus Dallas. Anthony Davis looks so good when he's actually on the floor, and then he gets injured. Like, genuinely, like, bro, it's so insane to watch how, like, bro, I don't know, if you're not betting for AD to get injured, you're losing on money right now, because genuinely, like, and I think the Mavericks are looking for trade packages for AD. And it's just like, as a GM, like, how can you trade for somebody if you're literally going to get no value because he's not going to be playing? I mean, if maybe the strat is to just keep him on the bench until playoff time. But yeah, can he even last a series? Can he even last 2 games? I mean, maybe you keep him on the bench until the finals, and then he'll play like game 1 and game 2, and then get like a calf injury, and then now he's out for the rest of the finals. I don't know. I know it has to be like really frustrating for a Dallas Mavericks fan, where you had Luka Doncic on your team. I don't want to say Doncic. I got that from Flight. Shout out Flight. But we have Luka Doncic on your team, and what's it called? You trade him away for a first round pick, which the first round pick was really lucky. But I mean, you got the first round pick, and then you get just no value because AD can't last a few games in a row. Um, there was a Mavericks game that I watched this week that I don't think I went over, but AD looked so good that game as well. Where I'm pretty sure he had 30, and he was getting the blocks, he was getting the defensive stops, and he's so good when he's playing on the floor. But it's just like, dang, like how can you? I don't even know how you can trade him away. I don't know how an organization or a GM could really just look at him and be like, yeah, we want this guy on our team to get no minutes and just sit on the bench because he's injured. Um, Cooper Flag looks so good. This Christmas game, I remember Steph Curry had an interview after the game where he was saying like the league's in good hands and like that Cooper Flag looked good as well. And it's just, I think that's just gonna help and boost his confidence as well. Like it's so crazy because he's so young. Like I'm older than Cooper Flag. Um, it's crazy that he's so young and watching him in the beginning of the season, like I was just a little bit scared. I mean, I really didn't take into account how this guy's genuinely just turned 18 and he's playing with a lot of grown men, but we saw him in the Olympics scrimmages and we saw him throughout college and he looked good even with going against grown men or playing in the Olympic team, going against them and stuff like that. So we had the expectation that when he came to the NBA nothing was gonna change, but he had a really slow start. But like these past month, and I said it last week too, where Cooper Flag has really found his stride and he's playing so good offensively and defensively. And I'm telling you, when he gets that 3-point in his bag, oh my goodness, man. I think he's gonna be like a defensive Tatum. I think that's what his ceiling is genuinely gonna be, where he's genuinely gonna be like a defensive Tatum. Um, is that crazy? A defensive Tatum. Like, once he gets his 3-point in his bag, he's gonna start like cooking up on the 3-point line instead of him cooking up on the mid range right now. And he's gonna be hitting some tough shots. So, but it was good to watch Cooper Flag play the rest of his game out, even though his teammate Anthony Davis does not stay healthy. So I got this number 3 spot. Hopefully, I think people will agree with this too. I got the OKC and the Spurs game. The reason why, like, I'm trying to really remember this game. I don't know. It's like my mind's pushing on my memory because I can't believe that the San Antonio or the OKC lost. But we now know that Spurs are the kryptonite for OKC, and the offense for the Spurs with this Dylan Harper, this De'Aaron Fox, this Stephon Castle looks so good. And then you also have just Harrison Barton in the corner, and he'll just hit a three once Stephon Castle starts driving, and you gotta contest that drive with Stephon Castle. You gotta contest that drive with Dylan Harper because Dylan Harper will make it as well. Tough layups, so you really got to contest that. And then Harrison Barnes is just hitting a three. Julian Champagne is just hitting a three in the corner. They just be sitting in the corner, just hitting threes. And then of course Victor Wembanyama is just making tough buckets, tough and ones. Um, it was a really good game from the Spurs, and I genuinely do think that although their offense looks so good, their defense definitely won in this game, and I think that's the best way to play OKC. We saw it with the Minnesota Timberwolves game where Minnesota really just brought the toughness that OKC brings into their games. Minnesota just brought it like right back at them, if not more. And I think the Spurs is the same thing, where their defense is genuinely just they just ran at them, and I think that's exactly what really got them this win. Their defense looked so good and was able to get them this win for the Spurs. So good win for the Spurs, and it should be their confidence should be so high beating this team because. I mean, literally like a week or two ago, I was saying, I don't think anybody could beat this team, and Spurs beat them 3 times in a row. So, and you got SGA saying in press conferences that the Spurs are better, stuff like that. So, the morale and the confidence got to be super high. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my 2 and my 1. So I had it, set up, and then I switched it over. All right, so I'm at 2. I had Cleveland and 2. Cleveland, New York is at my 2. I had them at my 1. and then I ended up changing it to put Denver and Minnesota one. I put Denver and Minnesota at two because I was like, maybe I'm being biased, but this is my show, and I genuinely think Denver and Minnesota was the best game. So I'm gonna stick with that. So I'm gonna go over the Cleveland New York game. This was a banger game. I think I like, honest as possible, as good as the fourth quarter was. Like, you would assume that the first three quarters was like insane, but I just think it was a good game by the Cavs, like especially the first half. I mean, like, the Knicks had their runs, but like the Cavs were playing good, and we've seen that they've been losing to bad opponents like this last month, and they definitely just been looking like not as good as we expected them, because we were coming into the season thinking Cavs were for sure going to be the number one seed, and it looked like the Cavs that we expected. And then they sell this game. This comeback from the New York Knicks was insane. Tyler Kokek, I think that's how you say his name. Hopefully, I haven't been tapped into his games. I'm not gonna lie, or any of his gameplay. This was like the only time I really heard his name, and the announcer, Jordan Clarkson. Big shout out to those two guys. They really were spark plugs that came off the bench and really just like had Madison Square Garden jumping, and this is, playing in Madison Square Garden. Why is that so hard for me to say? Playing in that on that court, as a away team must be very difficult. But the Cavs really had that lead, and you can't let a guy like Jordan Clarkson and Tyler Kokek just genuinely just cook your team individually. And then once they were done, Jalen Brunson was like, all right, let me just finish the game. Let me play hero ball. And Jalen Brunson played really well, especially in that fourth quarter. And the New York Knicks complete the comeback, and it's just another loss for the Cavs, and it's genuinely so disappointing. I'm pretty sure I was going through the NBA games, and they lost to the Charlotte Hornets this past week, and it's just like dang, man, and they're not even dealing with injuries like that. It's just like dang. That's what I have here on my notes, is that the Cavs just continue to disappoint. Do I feel like they disappointed this game? They choked, but it wasn't like a disappointment like a Charlotte Hornets or like a Utah Jazz or whoever else they've lost to recently. I think they've lost to Charlotte Hornets 2 times in a row. I don't know, but yeah, this was a good game, and I'm gonna go to my number one. I'm gonna go to my number one team, in Denver versus Minnesota. Sure, I apologize for drinking water. I just needed some. But Denver versus Minnesota. Oh my goodness, man, bro! I don't know how, if Nikola Jokic does not win MVP. I don't care if I'm being biased. I don't care if he's one of my favorite players. If I'm my favorite player in the NBA, I don't care if I'm a Denver Nuggets fan. Bro, there's no way you could look at these stat lines and be like, nah, he's not winning MVP. This man just had a 55. Bro, like 55, 15, and 15 game. It was like the first in history, bro. Like, what are we talking about right now, bro? Like, he was doing this last season. They slept on him because they want to do voter fatigue, and they don't want to have the same MVP back to back. And like, bro, days yapping, bro. If Jokic doesn't win MVP this season, I'm starting a riot, bro. And all the Denver fans were starting a riot, no cap, because genuinely, like, he's genuinely so insane. And it's like watching the game, I genuinely can't even tell that this guy's just going off. He's just scoring points, and it's like, okay, like next play. It's not even like Anthony Edwards. Like, I don't notice when he's dropping 45. Like, I'll see the emotion. I'll see the give him an ISO and let him cook and do a step back 3 and 1. Like, I'll notice it. Jokic just this floater. Let's get on defense. Floater. Let's get on defense. Pass out. Just get on defense. Like, it's just so casual, and no glaze but glaze, bro. Like, how? Oh my goodness. Also, crazy shot by Anthony Edwards, but genuinely, as a Denver fan, they were selling. The last 6 minutes of the game, I forgot what the run was. It was like 21-3 or 21-6 or something like that for Minnesota. Last 6 minutes in the game, like they decided to just sleep. Like, Denver Nuggets was actually selling this last 6 minutes of the game, and they allowed Minnesota to come back. And I'm like 90% sure this is what the commentator said. I just don't know if it's true, but he was like, before this game, like, Denver's 0-5 in OT, and if you're the head coach, if you're the players for Denver, and you know you're not doing well in OT against teams, why are we letting Minnesota? I feel like with the most clutch player of the year, I think Anthony Edwards is definitely top 2 candidate for clutch player of the year. I was looking at his clutch stats. He's shooting like 67%. 67% from the field, like 65% from three, and like bro, like his clutch stats are insane right now, and like we had like just lock in for like 3 minutes, man. Like it was like the oh my goodness, they were genuinely trying to sell. They were doing what the Denver Broncos does, and they just like Denver Broncos was like coming from behind. I don't know, but crazy, and it was a really good game. Also Rudy Gobert, Jokic is your father. Like it's just a true fact. He is your father. He did this to you last year where he cooked you and he cooked you again. You're supposed to be a DPOY. Like, I mean, I know you're old head. I know you're pushing 40. Like, in my eyes, you're still genuinely a good center defensively. Offensively, don't even be in conversations. You're definitely the worst in the league when it comes to starting. But just between me and you, it's just a straight fact. I don't know how Jokic does in other games, but like if you see Jokic on Christmas ever again, Rudy Gobert, I think you gotta call off work. No cap, just use your PTO if you got any PTO. Um, Spend some time with your family because it's bad. It's genuinely bad. Jokic don't play no games when he's going against you, bro. But yeah, so it was Christmas was a banger for NBA games. They were all good. Besides the LA Houston game, that one was kind of mid. But I think the other four games were really great games. And I enjoyed taking the notes on these. I enjoyed watching them. Um, so yeah, that's what I got. Let's go to the NFL now, where let's go to the first games of the week. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, okay. So it was the 49ers and the Colts game. I do wanna do my sincere apology to Philip Rivers. I think a week or two ago, I was like, trade this guy, and Philip Rivers is not the problem. The problem is, I mean, he is the problem, but I genuinely think like these players, the Colts players, generally have no more confidence in their team. I think the coaching staff, they're trying their best to produce that, and it's just not showing. I mean, Philip Rivers isn't playing bad, and he didn't play bad this game. That's why I'm issuing my apology. I'm taking accountability here. Um, but it's just not looking good for the Colts and Philip Rivers. I think the 49ers played a really good game. They dropped 50 on the Colts head. By the way, and it was so efficient. It looked really good. It was a really good game by the 49ers. Let's go to the Cowboys and the Commanders. The Cowboys really tried selling this game. I mean, the Commanders had their backup quarterback in because I don't think Marcus Mariota was playing. We know Jenny Daniels was out, and you guys genuinely almost sold this game. Um, it shouldn't have been this close anyways. Kaminanga had a couple big plays, so Simon like he had two, like I think like one run and one like reception that was like really big, but besides that, like he didn't have anything crazy, and it just shows how bad the Cowboys defense is. Where the Cowboys really they genuinely have to score 30 every game. Their offense is good. I agree, but they have to score 30 or their team is just gonna be bad. Um, so yeah, it's a win for the Cowboys, but it should have not been that close. This Lions Vikings game, bro. Yo, if you're a Lions fans, bro, if you're a Lions fan, yo, my boy Randy, my boy MMG, um, my boy Levi. If you even watch these videos, who else? My boy Solomon. Yo, our Yo, I don't know what you. I mean, I know you guys are dealing. Let's talk about the injuries first. I know you guys dealing with some safety injuries. The defense is not what lost you guys this game. The Vikings had a total of 70 something yards before Jordan Addison's touchdown, and I want to say Jordan Addison's touchdown was, let's see, bro. If Jordan Addison's touchdown was in the fourth quarter, bro, I will crash out. Oh, it was. Oh my freaking goodness, man. So before Jordan Addison's touchdown in the fourth quarter, the Vikings had 70 yards of offense. 70. I know you guys also are dealing with a problem at center. That's why you guys dealt with the fumble, like the fumbles off the snap and stuff like that, bro. The way you guys lost this game was genuinely disappointing. Like if I had a power ranking for the Detroit Lions before the season, it would have been very high. And after the safety injuries, I'm like, okay, like now I could give them a pass because two safeties is really important. Like having two safeties gone, like we saw last week how like crucial that was. The defense is not what sold you guys this game. It was genuinely your offense. Your offense was not moving at all. I'm not hating on the Lions. I'm disappointed. Am I a Lions fan? Nah. do I like the Lions? So I like they're probably my top 5 favorite team. So this is why I'm showing the emotion of the disappointment that I see from this Lions team. And you can't say the excuse of, oh, we don't have our starting safeties. Oh, we're having injuries on defense. Bro, that was not the problem. The problem is there was I don't even know. I don't even know the offense. The offense genuinely disappointed, and I talked so highly about this offense literally like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm like regretting it now. I don't know. Um, but the Vikings get a win somehow, some way, 70 yards total offense before Jordan has his touchdown, which was a great touchdown. They ran a great play, but excuse me, I don't know, just disappointed. Let's go to the Broncos Chiefs game. Our Broncos, 2013. Score was 2013. Again, I was talking to my boy Randy about this. Shout out Randy from the pool. Uh, you grinding out there. Um, why I don't understand why my Broncos team genuinely loves like starting from behind. Like they like going down and like coming back. Like they like the thrill and whatever the drive, whatever they feel from going like making a comeback. I think them and there was one more team that I just watched yesterday. Um, it's them and another team that have the most one possession wins or something like that. It's a crazy stat, but like it's just like basically what I'm trying to say is that they're winning most of these games by one possession, and that's because they want to go on this final drive and like create the highlight that the Bo Nix does a rolling out pass to Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton has a one hand catch and a touchdown, and everybody's posting on IG. Oh my goodness, the Broncos are good. I do not mess with this. As a Broncos fan, I do not mess with this. Like Bo Nix doesn't decide to play football until the second half, and in the playoffs, this can't be it because the playoffs are a lot more serious. Like if you lose, like you're cooked. You can't like. There's been I think it was last week or the week before where we lost, and it's because we went down in the first half and we couldn't come back. And this is the thing we're seeing with the Broncos multiple times, and genuinely like I don't know if they have a parlay on like them having comebacks. Like I don't know what the organization, the players, the coaching staff got like what parlays they got going on, but like it shouldn't even been this close. Like we're playing against the Chiefs. Again, I think this is a backup quarterback, and although their defense is okay to good. I'm gonna say like their defense is good. I just feel like the Chiefs didn't play a bad game in the first half because the Broncos were like, oh let's do a comeback, guys. Let's do a comeback and let's be on all the IG edits. Like I don't know. Hopefully playoff time they actually lock in. Texans and the Chargers. This game was so can't Cameron Dicker missed two. Yo, all right. I'm gonna be as humble as possible. I'm a soccer player, right? And which is crazy because I'm talking about football and basketball right now. I don't talk about soccer. That's a whole nother video question, whatever you text. I don't know. But as a soccer player, right? As humble as possible, I'm making at least one of those. One of them was just a regular field goal, which it's not as easy as before, like it was like 10 years ago when they moved the yardage. But it's a pretty like you practice it all the time. And then the other one was like, was it a 34? That means you're actually kicking for the 24-yard line. Was it a 34? Bro, it better not have been 24 because that would have even been worse. Game did not, and then also the Texans didn't even look good. They just had two bomb plays in the first two plays of the game. The Chargers was like, yeah, let me just hand y'all touchdowns. They were pulling the Denver Broncos where they were like, let me hand y'all two touchdowns and let's see if we come back. And I mean, and then CJ Stroud had such a bad interception. Like it was such a bad game and weird game, and it was so messy. And I don't think the Texans deserve this win. Neither I think the Chargers deserve this win. If anything, I think they both should have took an L this game from how bad they played. Is this also? Let me look at some of these other games. Let me double check this before I say this statement. Eagles, Bills, Seahawks, Panthers, Cardinal, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. Okay, was this a game where they fumbled 17 times? Yo, is fumble like a game stat? Total turnovers? Nah, it can't be that because there was only 3 total turnovers between both teams. Bro, there was a game. I really hope I can remember because, yo, there was a game this week. Sorry, I really thought it was the Texans and the Chargers. Sorry, okay, I'll stop talking about the Chargers and the Texans. But like, boy, both y'all deserve to lose that game. Let's go over to Ravens and the Packers. This was the game for the backup quarterbacks to the backup quarterback game of all time. Malik Willis looked like the GOAT. Tyler Huntley, he looked pretty good. He wasn't as good as Malik Willis, but like he looked pretty good. Um, so it didn't really, I think it generally just came down to which defense was gonna get dotted up by the backup quarterback. Now, oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness. Yo, do not clip that. Bro, do not clip that. I just called Derrick Henry King. Yeah, okay, lock in, bro. All right, so anyways, Derrick Henry had a great game. I think it was 4 touchdowns in total, and the defense from the Packers was not as good as we have seen. I feel like they've been. I look at the stats this week when it comes to my segment I'm doing, but they were about the middle of the pack, and it was just disappointing to watch Tyler Huntley cook up this defense. And there was multiple times where Tyler Huntley was making plays on third down, and he was scrambling, and he was doing it every quarter, every other third down. And as a coach, that I was just highly talking last week about how good your play calling is and adjusting to things. I feel like this was definitely something you could have adjusted to. Because, I mean, Malik Willis was really doing both, where he was scrambling really good, but he was also throwing dots. Tyler Huntley had some dots too, but on them third down plays, like, he was really trusting his run. So, I don't know. I don't know if they were just letting these third down conversions go. But the Ravens get a win, and I genuinely thought they were going to lose this game. And somehow the Steelers lose to the Browns. So, and this whole time I really thought the Steelers were for sure making the playoffs, but now the Ravens and the Steelers will match up next week, and we'll see what ends up happening. I still don't think the Ravens are making the playoffs, and if they do, I hope they surprise me. I mean, I don't mind being surprised, but, I mean, I don't know. Malik Willis played such a good game to lose, and that's crazy. That's so crazy to say. Like, he played like a banger game just to lose. I think Jordan Love was really shaking his boots. Like, he probably downloaded Indeed. I don't think he started creating his resume and looking for a new job, but he at least downloaded it. Like, that's how scared he was. But let's go to some of these other games that were on Sunday. The Jaguars Colts. I'm trying to remember this game. Oh my goodness, yo, something that's so difficult, low key, is remembering these games. Cause I mean, I watched them, write down the notes, and then I go over the notes right before this recording, and oh my goodness, like some of these games I genuinely can't remember. Steelers Brown. I just talked about that, by the way. Steelers somehow sold this, could even get a touchdown. And their offense has been what has been carrying them this season. And I was talking highly about them last week. By the way, I just peeped that. Every person or coach or team I talked highly about last week completely sold me this week. They wanted to like embarrass me. Anyways, let's go over the Seahawks Panthers. Was this the game with all the fumbles? Bro, there was a game with pause. Oh my goodness. Oh, we heard that. Yo, there was a game with so many fumbles, and I need to figure out which game it is. Cause, bro, like, who put oil on the freaking football, man? Let's see. Total turnovers. There was 4. There was 4 turnovers. I don't know. I don't know if it was this game. But yo, Bryce Young looked good, by the way. Well, let me see his stats before I go too crazy glazing Bryce Young. But from what I remember, at least, Bryce Young had a pretty decent game. Let's see. Oh my goodness, no, he did not. I am yapping. 54 total yards. Yo, that was definitely yapping. I apologize for saying Bryce Young was cooking because that boy had 54 total yards. So yeah, this must have been a really bad offensive game for both teams, and somehow I mean, the Seahawks definitely have a good defense, and we talked about this multiple times, but yeah, let's go. Yo, the Bears and the 49ers was a banger game. This game was so good. Caleb Williams looked good. Brock Purdy was so efficient. Yo, shout out. This is the only time I remember saying this. Shout out to the blocking from the 49ers, and no, mainly the 49ers, where like I've never seen so many graphics of what's the announcer that be glazing Mahomes? He was an announcer for this game. He was really showing so many blocking like assignments that the 49ers were doing, and like what was getting them these touchdowns. It was insane. It was such a good game. Like so many big plays. It was a great game to watch. The Eagles Bills. this wasn't the best game. The Bills go for that 2 point conversion and don't get it, and Josh Allen starts raging. He didn't have the best game as well. He had a pretty bad play earlier. I remember also. Let me go back to what game was it? The back. I remember, bro. I can't remember what game was it, but the backup quarterback. It was like the third string came in. Oh, it was a Green Bay game. The Green Bay game. Forgot his name. I feel bad for bro. Like if I could text him, I would. The back. This is I'm like jumping around right now, but the backup quarterback for Green Bay went in. He was this white guy. He hasn't played. He played like a little bit last season. He had 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So he only threw 3 interceptions all last season. And his first play of the game, throws a pass. The wide receiver couldn't right in his mitts. I think the ball wasn't as like spiral as you wanted, but it was right in his like hands. Bobbles it, throws an interception. First, he's 5 seconds into his first snap. Feel bad for the guy. Just to bring that up because I just thought about it. Really couldn't find the game that had all these fumbles, but it was a pretty good week for Sunday football. And I'm just so excited to watch that Ravens and that Steelers game. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Let's go into the segment that I have for this week. That was a whole lot of yap on freaking NFL football from this past week, but it was so good. I enjoyed it. So let's go over. This is the NFC that we will be going over, and although it is not for sure, Tampa Bay and Carolina, one of them are making it. I just did both of them. So let's go over this. For Seattle, what I have for their weakness, and we are doing weaknesses. This is part 2. Is through the stats. This is all the stuff I got from defensive and offensive stats on this one website. I got it all also from ESPN, from Football Reference. I looked at a couple different websites. But for Seattle, their run game and amount of dropbacks were low in the league, which shows that they have O-line issues, and especially when it comes to the interior O-line. We're seeing D tackles and get this pressure, and we're not seeing great run plays because the guards don't have the speed or don't have the acceleration to pull from the left side to the right side, like how Quentin Nelson does so well. And I'm not really an O-line type of guy where I'm really studying and watching O-line during the games, but I can really notice during run plays where how good you need a left guard or a right guard to really pull, to be able to switch like quick and be quick on his feet to get to the other side. And the run plays are very stagnant and not as good just because of the interior O-line issues that they have, and they also have like really low and dropbacks where Sam Darnold is having to drop back a lot and has these pass rush that's coming from this interior line. So that's what I have for Seattle. They besides that, like offensively and the rest of their stats look so good when it comes to just the advanced stats. Like the eye test as well, you could really see how good they are, but the advanced stats, they look so well. So let's go to Chicago. Their run defense, and this is also for all of this is from the stats, but the run defense, a lot of yards on them. They have a lot of rushing yards that are on them right now, and they are like middle of the pack when it comes to rushing touchdowns. That this is scored against them, but rushing yards, like, teams are getting so many yards against them. And also just there's another like stat metric called ADOT. This is like average depth of target. So it's basically like it's like really hard to go like into depth too, but like it's how many big plays are against this team. And Chicago has a lot of big plays against them, whether that's run or passing. And I'm really guessing it's mainly run, just because of how we just went over how their run defense is not as good, and they're letting up so many yards, and they're letting up these big like gains from these run plays. So that's what Chicago definitely has as a defense. Let's go to Philadelphia, where I feel like this one not even have to go to advanced stats. It's just their inconsistent offense between Jalen Hurts, between AJ Brown. I think Devontae Smith has been really consistent. Dallas Goedert has been pretty consistent, but it's just Jalen Hurts. Even Saquon Barkley has been inconsistent. This whole offense has been so inconsistent this season, and they weren't as dominant as we saw them last year. Do I think they'll fix it during playoff time? Yes. But the offense isn't as good as I really expected. They're also one of the worst in the league with allowing the scramble. So we know that they have Brandon Graham. We know they have Jalen Carter. These are mainly like interior defensive linemen. But like when it comes to QB scrambling against them, this is something that they allow a lot. So they're also really low in the league with that as well. And then also they have a really high A dot as well, which is what I talked about with the Chicago, where there's these big pass plays or run plays that are against them as well, which is crazy thing about when they have such a good secondary. Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean, these are two Pro Bowlers. I don't know if Reed made it. I know Cooper I think did, but um I feel like the Eagles secondary was definitely good, but they have a pretty high A dot. So when we go to San Francisco, their stats look really good as well. But um, definitely weakness that I saw was they don't get much interceptions, showing that their secondary. Maybe they could get the pass deflections, but they're not getting these takeaways. They're not getting these turnovers that they need. Of course, you get the turnovers from pass deflections, batting the ball, not forcing it the fourth down. But like an interception, I think is so important to really changing the tempo, changing the momentum of a game. So they don't get much, and then also when quarterbacks are playing against this team, they're the one of the worst in the league when it comes to QBs having a higher completion percentage. So this also shows that they have secondary issues where quarterbacks are really completing passes. Their completion percentage is really high when going against San Francisco. So I think they're just their biggest weakness when it is because they're just secondary on defense. Um, and they also have really bad sack percentage, which means they're not really getting to the quarterback as well. So they're having some problems on defense, sack percentage and their secondary, but their offense looks so good when it comes to advanced stats. When it comes to LA, another team that was so hard to even write like a weakness for, no glaze. Like I genuinely, this was not according to me. It's according to the stats. But they're on the lower side of teams with passing yards against. So so it's like just basically saying that like their secondary is allowing a lot of passing yards against them, and I mean that's one of their weaknesses. And then also, um, it's just like the A dot as well. They weren't middle of the pack. They were in between like middle and low, where a lot of teams were getting big plays against them as well. And I'm just assuming again that this is pass plays, since a lot of teams are getting a lot of pass yards against them. That's why we talked about A dot when it comes to Chicago. That I think it's the run plays when it comes to the A dot, where the team's probably getting a lot of run plays. But yeah, that's what LA has when it comes to weaknesses. Let's go to Green Bay, where the defensive red zone efficiency is really, really bad. Where teams are scoring so easily in the red zone. They're really one of the worst in the league when it comes to red zone efficiency. And I know it's pretty difficult to stop a team in the red zone, but I think their percentage was like 78%, 80%, something like that, where it's something crazy where eight times out of 10 teams are scoring in the red zone. And I think going to playoff time, like red zone stops are gonna be so crucial. So we'll see if Green Bay will be able to fix that. Something they also have that's definitely a weakness. That's so like obvious is their low pass rush. Before Micah, it was already low, and now that Micah's gone, it's even gonna be worse. Where they're not gonna be getting any pressure at all to the quarterback. So it's just gonna allow more time for the receivers to get open, and for big plays to even go against them because of this low pass rush. So we'll see how they deal with this weakness, but it's definitely something that like is obvious. And then also they don't get much interceptions as well, defensively. So and then let's go to the two teams that are in the hunt right now. Carolina, which go quickly. They have low sack percentage, so they're not really getting to the quarterback at all. Their rush defense is weak, so teams are really going at it when it comes to touchdowns and yards against Carolina when they're running the ball. So if the Bills play wait, I'm tripping. The Bills can't play Carolina, but like regular season, the Bills play Carolina, they'd be cooked. 'Cause I think Bills have the most rushing yards and touchdowns in the league. And then they also have really bad red zone like efficiency offensively. So when they're in the red zone, their efficiency is bad. They can't score in the red zone, and that probably comes from. I mean, their running back it's Rico Dowdle. He's not really a tank. I mean, running back Chuba Hubbard is like kind of that like hybrid. He's in between, but like you don't have these. Excuse me, these wide receivers are gonna get crazy separation, and then your running backs aren't really just gonna like chuck over a linebacker. So that's probably why their efficiency is so low. And then Tampa Bay, last team, is they have a lot of pass yards against them, and then they also have almost the worst defensive red zone efficiency, allowing teams to easily score on them. I think they were second the worst, if I'm pretty sure, if I remember looking at them. But they really allow teams to really score in that end zone when it comes to being in the red zone. So. But yeah, so that's what I have for the NFL. That's what I have for this week's episode. I thank you for tapping in. Make sure you turn on post notifications. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Be included in these videos. I wanna continue this question segment. I can continue it if you guys are being included as well. You guys are interacting as well. So I thank you for the two people that submitted a question this week. Again, I will be here next week Tuesday at 12 p.m. Make sure you follow Full Basket Podcast on Instagram to stay updated with everything. I hope everyone has an amazing New Year. Again, Merry Christmas for people that are watching this after Christmas. Christmas passed for me when I'm recording this, and New Year's hasn't came. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. I thank you for tuning in. Make sure you just stay updated on Instagram, post notifications on YouTube, post notifications on Spotify. So to continue, lock in, keep God number one. I thank everyone for tapping in. Have a happy New Year.